Morning, Giselle.
Good morning, Gina. Oh, no, not Gina.
Ava.
Ava.
Yep. Gina's gonna be back hopefully by next week. But yeah. And for today, I believe Nick will be having his discussion. I'm not sure about what, but I think it's gonna be very interesting. So
It's going to be a surprise for all of us. Don't worry.
yeah.
Sounds great.
Okay.
I'll be off
How are you
camera
doing?
today since I'm gonna be driving, but I'll be listening.
Sure thing. If you've got questions, you can just pop them up and
Yes.
Nick could answer them.
I'll probably use the microphone.
Gotcha.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Giselle,
So
where are you
how is today?
located?
Oh, sorry.
That's right. Giselle, where are you located?
I'm in Seattle, Washington.
Oh, okay, great. Well, good morning. Boy, it's a little earlier
Yeah.
out there than
Oh, it's
8:30.
very early. Yes.
Thanks for coming on board this early.
Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you.
No
Are
problem.
you you and Gina are like friends, or are you part of the team?
Yeah. I'll explain it to everyone.
Okay.
I'm not part of the team. I'm a honey badger though. Let's put it that way. We're all honey
Oh,
badgers.
yeah.
But yeah, I was sponsored directly by Al Stasek a few years back, and I met Gina and who's the guy she works with? Her partner,
Gary.
Gary. Yeah. So Gary is so funny. So we've been doing these Zooms with people. We don't know anyone, and like this.
Right.
And you get to feel like you know him. And I'm out at a pool one day, and Gary's like, "Come on over. Gina's coming." I don't even know who he's talking about. So we sat by a pool before at EXP, actually shareholders event almost a year ago in May.
Okay.
We sat there, I think, for 6 hours. It was raining. None of us could swim. We had drinks and lunch, and it was just so much. We just got to know everyone, and it was wonderful. So that's kind of impromptu. That's how we all got together.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I just joined the team about a week ago officially.
Great.
So I just got accepted to the Honey Badgers group on
Good.
Facebook. So so it's been great. Super active group in there.
Yeah. There's only 13,000 of us, so yes,
Oh, wow. I didn't know.
It's
So
a
many.
pretty big
That's
group.
awesome. Yes. And you're in Ohio?
Yep, Ohio. Yep, Cleveland, Ohio.
Nice. I could tell because of the background.
Yeah. It's funny. Don't tell anyone though. I went to school in Alabama.
Uh-oh. That's all right. I went to school in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
And I've got
University.
family in Cleveland.
Yeah. Where in Cleveland, Kathy?
I don't know, in house. Yeah. I know that he works, one of my cousins works, I guess it's for the public department because he's always dealing with these big underground things and water issues and whatever.
Okay, good.
Um,
Wonderful.
so
Well, it's not 5 o'clock in the morning in Michigan. I know that much.
that's true.
I was just talking to Giselle. She told me where she was from. I was like, good Lord.
Yeah. Yep. You know, because she's dedicated if she's here this early.
That's right. Well, all of you guys, doesn't matter what time it is. I'm on my way to golf. You can see my nice golf shirt I have on today. Matches my eyes. So
Well, that means it's a good day up there.
it's always a good day. I always tell people a horrible day on the golf course always beats the greatest day I've ever had at work.
All right. So how did you get into real estate, Nick?
Oh boy, about 20 years ago, my girlfriend at the time told me I had two options. I could quit my extremely high paying job that made me travel all over the world, and or we could get married. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. You'd like to get married, but you want me to quit my very high paying job because I travel all the time. She said, yes. I said, well, see, one of those things doesn't make me happy. The marriage would. Quitting the high paying job. And I said, what do you think I should do? And she said, well, why don't you just become a realtor? And I was like, and then I thought about it. I'm like, well, They usually have pretty nice cars, dress pretty well, a couple of things. So I said, I think we could try this. So sure, I quit my job and went to classes 3 weeks. That's back in the day when you actually had to go to classes, none of this online stuff. And it was really great. I'm glad I did it, but it was a struggle at the beginning, that's for sure.
And are you still married?
I'm still married to the same person. We're lucky enough. I have 2 older children, 26 and 23, and I have with Cindy, my wife, we have a 15-year-old son who certainly keeps me grounded. He's my favorite golf partner, and we only get to do it on the weekends because he's got this thing called school. I'm like, why you go to
Oh.
school? So,
And golf isn't one of his curriculum classes, huh?
well, actually, it's funny. I was trying to get him to skip school today to play golf with me because I didn't have anyone. And my wife's like, "You're a horrible parent." I'm like, "Who cares?" And he would have done it because it's Friday. He's a freshman in high school, but he has a presentation. He's got to give a TED talk, which I think is great. It's a 5-minute talk to his peers and obviously the teacher. And he's all excited about it. And I'm thinking, well, what period is it? He's like, oh, it's 2:00. I'm like, well, I can be on the back 9 by then. I'm trying to figure this out. My wife's like, he's not skipping school to play golf. I'm like, well, there's that option.
Well, that is an interesting thing. My parents never tried to get me to skip school.
No, mine either. Trust me. I think we got, is it Brianna? How are you?
Hi.
I know you're in your car. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
doing kid drop off.
I think we got most of them already, Nick.
Oh, great. And Brianna, I won't bother you while you're driving, but where are you driving from, or where do you live?
Nashville, Tennessee.
Beautiful.
Well, I live in Brentwood, which is
Okay.
right, like an area outside of Nashville, like
Okay.
a suburb.
Great. Great. Well, I'll get started. It's about 8 after. Thanks for jumping on, especially Giselle, who's, like I said, I think it's 5:30 in the morning where she lives. So you get the credit, A+ credit award. But I was telling Gina, actually not Gina, sorry, Eva. Gina's it's on our screen, that Gina and I met a year ago, and with Gary, actually almost a year ago to the day, we were down in Orlando at the shareholders meeting. And I kind of hate to say this, guys, I've been a realtor 20 years now, almost 20 years. And I kind of went kicking and screaming. And my sponsor, I should just listen to him more because he's a pretty smart guy. His name's Al Stasek. If you don't know Al, he's actually the founder of Honey Badger Nation, which now has over 13,000 members. So I'm directly sponsored by Al. And he tried to get me to go to EXP 5 years ago, and I told him he was crazy, just so you know, because I didn't know. And then I joined about 2.5 years ago, and then there was, of course, COVID. I joined January of 2020, and then COVID hit, March of 2020. So that was exciting. And he said, hey, when we get back together again, I really want you to go to this thing called shareholders. And I'm like, yeah, I really want to go to, in the middle of May when it's 400 degrees to Orlando, Florida, But long story short, as I went down there, and it was just wonderful. I got to meet people. I'd been on Zooms like this, and I got to meet people like Gina and Gary and other parts of your team and group. And I was we sat in the rain. It was funny, at this beautiful resort that we're going to be at next week. And we sat in the rain and talked for about 6 hours, talking about life and our kids and families. And none of it had to do with real estate, quite frankly, but I got to know them. And probably the greatest thing that came out of this for me, and I hope Gina, is that ever since then, on every Friday morning at 8 a.m., Giselle, you'll love this because it's 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We get on a conference call right before you guys meet at 8:30, and it's an accountability call. Now, she lives in Florida, and I clearly live in Ohio. And I got to tell you, it has been a literally, easy for me to say, game changer, not only in my life, not only my real estate business, but also relationships and things. Sometimes I just pick her brain because she's a woman and I'm a man, right? And it's just, we've gotten to know each other. I'd say we're pretty close at this time. I look forward to seeing her next week. I know she's recovering from her surgery, and I'm just so excited to be with you guys. It's really wonderful. I'd like to explain and tell you a little bit about me. Again, I've been doing this for now almost 20 years. I was the number one agent at RE/MAX for 10 years. And then I ran the number 2 in the world team for Berkshire Hathaway. I was also Berkshire Hathaway's chief recruiting officer. So not that means anything anymore, but at one point my team and I were selling over 600 homes a year, and I did that for 5 consecutive years. So I enjoy real estate, but really I enjoy people. And finally, when Al Stagstack sat down with me a second time, I couldn't deny, I didn't know what I didn't know. And I said, Al, how did you do this? And he said, Nick, I stopped helping myself and tried to help more people. And when I did that, I became extremely successful. Now, Gina asked me to talk to you a little bit about real estate and what I do in commissions. And commissions is always a funny topic because people always say, well, you shouldn't talk about commission. It's illegal. It's really not illegal. You can always talk about commission to people in your own brokerage. So just so you know, my average commission rate last year, you guys will laugh. I went from selling 600 homes a year. Last year I sold 14 homes. Now, who wants to guess higher or lower what my net commission was from EXP selling 14 homes?
Higher.
No, Kathy, take a guess. Between 50 and 100.
100,000.
How much?
100?
Okay. Giselle, you want to guess? Oh, she might be muted. Oh, there you are.
I have no idea. And
Okay,
since
no
I'm new,
problem.
I'm still working out numbers.
That's okay. That's okay. And how about Kathy? What do you think?
I think it's higher than 100,000. So, being conservative, 150.
Okay. And we're gonna let, who else did I miss? Eva, I know you're just listening, but I'm gonna let you participate. Eva, how much money do you think I made selling 14 houses last year?
I mean, I don't really know about real estate, but I'm gonna take a guess, 250.
Oh, good Lord. All right. So it's higher than you three and lower than Eva. But here it is. I don't know if you guys can see that.
206, 7.
Right?
206, 712. Why do I say that? It's certainly not to brag. What it is I've learned I only want to sell one side of the real estate transaction unless I'm going to double end a deal, then I'll work with a buyer. But really, I want to become a listing agent. And I always want to be the listing agent because I control the deal when I can. But even when I am the listing agent, I also control the commissions. So I start at 7%. It's kind of like a concierge service, right? You could say, okay, you can get Nick Light, and Nick Light is 7%, or Nick Premium is 8.5%. Now, I will tell you, people laugh and go, you don't ever get, I will show you contract or listing agreements where I've personally gotten 8.5% on a listing. Now, we have what's called adverse commission splits here in Ohio. I don't know if you guys have them around the country, but basically what that means is I get to tell the buyer's agent what they get to make on the deal. So in Ohio, you guys probably do too, I'm guessing. Yeah. So in
Yes.
Ohio, the average buyer's agent is going to make 3.2, which is 3% on the first 100,000, 2% on the balance. Now let's just do the math on that. On a $200,000 home, if I'm the listing agent, and let's just say I got 7%, and I give away 3.2, Kathy, at 3.2 at 200,000, how much did the buyer's agent get?
Oh, I'm not awake.
Well,
And
it's
I'm
three,
lazy.
no problem. It's 3,000 on the first, and then 2%, which is 5,000 total. But on 7%,
Right. So that,
but on 7%, I get 4% on the first 100,000 and 5% on the next 100,000. So that's $9,000. Now, I always want to make 9,000 and give away 5, right? Now, really, I want to double end it and make both sides if I can, but I will tell you, I don't always do that. So the goal is to always be the listing agent. Now, how do you get there? It didn't happen overnight. Again, this is my 18th, almost 19th year in this industry, which I love. But I will tell you how I did it is by different ways. I'm very proud of this. I've never paid for a lead in 18 years of real estate. Never, not once. I've cold calls, I've door knocked, I've marketed. I can tell you about my first ever, if you guys want to hear it, I did a podcast with a gentleman out of Atlanta, and he said, Nick, what differentiates yourself from every other person in this industry? Which is a great question. And I said, well, I don't take no for an answer. And I told him about my first ever door knocking experience where I knocked on a door that said for sale by owner. And it was 7 o'clock in the morning here in Cleveland. And well, 7:45, let's say 8 o'clock. And I knocked on the door and the guy came to it and he was holding a gun and he was just wearing a pair of shorts. And he said, why are you knocking on the door? And I said, oh, well, this is 20 years ago, by the way. I said, oh, well, I'm 30 years old. I'm Nick DeVito and I'm here to list your home. And he's like, do you have a buyer? And he's like, no. He's like, well, I don't want to list it. I want to sell it. I said, oh, well, that's why I'm here. And I didn't know this at the time, but he politely told me with his gun in his hand, and this was a very nice neighborhood, and his shorts on, and I hear a dog barking. I said, this guy's like either going to shoot me or just something bad. So he said, don't ever knock on this door again, and blah, blah, blah. And this is my first week in the industry. And my brokers told me to go door knock or cold call. So I leave with kind of my tail between my legs, and I'm walking back to my car. And I just had just a thought. I'm like, if I walk away from this house without getting what I came across, then I will lose at everything, right? So I went around to the side door of this guy's house. Now remember, he answered the door with his shorts on and a gun in his hand. So going back to this guy's side door was probably not the smartest idea. So I knock on the door, and the guy goes, are you some kind of idiot? Did you not hear me? And I said, sir, I just want to tell you, there's a real jerk answering your front door. And if it was me, I'd want to know that if I was the homeowner. Well, thank God. Two things were going to happen. Either he was going to invite me in or he's going to shoot me with his gun. He still got
Or both.
Or both. He brought me into his house, put on some clothes, thank heavens, made me a cup of coffee, showed me his German Shepherd because he was a police officer. That's why he had a gun. And I've known him now for 18 years, and he's given me a referral almost every year to the date. I ended up listing and selling his home, so I double-ended that deal. It's my second deal ever in real estate. I didn't even know what I was doing, I can assure you. But just in that moment, I just thought to myself, if I let this guy win, it's not that I could have walked away without the listing, but I needed to sit down with this gentleman and explain to him how I could help him sell his house quickly for the most amount of money. So that kind of started my career in door knocking and some other things. I've always tried to do things that people won't do, but here's what I won't do. I won't pay for a lead ever, and I won't adjust my commission. And people say, Nick, how much is your commission? And I always have two standard answers. Very simple. Hi, Craig, how you doing? I say it's either 15%, but luckily for you, it's half off day, so I'm only going to charge 7%. That's what or they say, when I say that, they laugh and smile and they go, oh, and I said, by the way, do you ask your lawyer what he charges or she charges? Do you ask your doctor how much they charge? No, you probably don't do that because those people are professionals. Well, I'm just like that. I'm a doctor of real estate. And I said, not that I'm offended by your question. The next standard answer is, Nick, how much do you charge for the listing? And I say, well, it's very simple. It's a 12-month contract and it's 7%. And I go, are there any other questions? I just shake my head, no. Are there any other questions? And usually they say, no, let's go, sign the paperwork. So nowadays it's a little different because I can do it by Zoom like this, and I send all the paperwork electronically. I don't have it typed up anymore or have people sign anything, which is great. But I got to tell you, when you walk into someone's house, you are the authority in real estate. I might not be the authority of what they do, but I know that I'm the authority of real estate. Now, have I ever been kicked out of homes? Absolutely. People have kicked me out. I think it's only happened once in almost 20 years. And it was an interesting story. It was two ladies, and they decided that they wanted a softer approach. The irony is they kicked me out of their home. They listed with another lady, perfectly fine, good agent. She couldn't sell it. And 6 months later, they called me back. And you know what I did? I raised my commission. It was 7% that day. It was 8.5 when I went back 6, because now I came back twice. Now you're wasting my time. So I did get their house sold. And they were very happy, and they still refer me today, which I'm happy about. But what I've always tried to do is differentiate myself. I always wanted to be the highest. And I don't want to be the lowest or middle paid. I always wanted to be the highest. And I ask people, I say, listen, I understand there's agents out there that will do it for a flat fee or cut their rate. That's because they do that because they're not in control of the situation. And when the offer comes in on your $1.5 million house and it's $1 million, they're going to think it's a good offer. I know I priced it well at $1.5 million, so I'm going to negotiate. If they can't negotiate their own commission, how in God's green earth are they going to go negotiate on your behalf on your house? So when you get that personal feeling towards people, they really understand, they like it, they know that I'm the authority, and they don't question my judgment. The only person that does that, of course, is my wife, and she's pretty good at it. So I did want to share with you, I talked to Gina about this. So about 4 months ago, some guys approached me about leading a network group, and I didn't know what it meant, I can assure you. So long story short is these guys out of Texas, one guy out of Texas and another guy out of, I think, Oklahoma, they put together a group. It's almost like a BNI, And what it is called ROI. It stands for Real Estate Outside and In. And I didn't think much of this group. I really didn't, you guys. At the end of last year, they said, hey, would you run a group for us in Chagrin Falls, Ohio? And actually what's funny is the owner of the company, Chris Stagg, said he kept calling it Chagrin Falls, Ohio, which it's not, but I never corrected him. And his other partner said, he's both named Chris, which is ironic. The other partner said, Chris, you've been saying it wrong for 2 months and Nick's never corrected. I'm like, I don't care. You call it whatever you want. But these guys, and I put in the link, you can go to this website. Here's what this has done for me and my business in the last 4 months. I was able to acquire 16 listings from this group. Now, all this is a group of individuals, cost me nothing to be in this group. ROI, again, stands for Real Estate Outside and In, started by EXP agents down in Texas. And they called me to do this. And I was like, I kind of was hesitant. And I'm like, I don't really need a networking group. I think I'm pretty good at what I'm doing. Well, I will tell you guys, I have never iconed at EXP yet. I've always capped, which is great, but I never iconed. This group will make me become an icon this year. And it's because I've literally gotten, I think, 14 or 15 now listing referrals from this group, which is just amazing. So I was able to cap in my first 2 months of this year and some other things, which is so exciting. So I will tell you, go onto that website, look it out. You'll actually see a video. If you go on there, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see a video of me and you'll know it's me because I have my Ohio State flag in the back. And I don't want to take up too much more time, but I will be able to answer any questions you guys have or anything you want to talk about, quite frankly.
Nick?
Yeah.
My best friend's mom is listing her house, and so I would love for you to do it.
Okay.
They're in Cleveland Heights.
Sure. I grew up in Shaker Heights. I live in Chagrin Falls. Shaker Heights is right
Yeah,
next door.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So so I'll shoot you. Well,
How about if I put I'll put my information in the chat. And then,
okay, yes.
and then Gina, or I
I'll
should say
screen-
Eva, sorry. Can you get that from there?
I'll talk to you guys later after this one.
Yes,
Okay.
Eva will email it to us.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I put that's my private cell phone. You guys can have it, take a picture. Eva, please you guys can call me anytime. I have a Calendly link. I have all that good stuff, but yes, I love that kind of stuff. I will help them. I promise you. That's so exciting. Do you know where in Cleveland Heights? And I know you're driving. Brianna.
It's not far from Euclid.
Sure.
I know it's right off the interstate, maybe about 5 or 10 minutes off of
Okay.
90.
Okay, that's great. Wonderful. Well, that's so exciting. I love to help them. Wonderful.
Okay. I just remember driving there and I got off the interstate and
Well, that's so great. Like I said, I grew up in the city next door in Shaker Heights. So I know I sold 4 houses.
yeah, they
this
went
year.
to school. They're my college best friends. And
Oh.
the mom is now in Indiana, but
Okay.
so we'll talk.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm so glad. See, I was meant to be on this call. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Well, I want to ask about your rates. I had somebody that helped me in Florida when I sold my brother's house, and he started his rates at 8 something. And, I talked to him a little bit about what he provided to make it worth doing that. What do
Yes.
you do?
So I have a very unique approach. When I list a property, depending on the price of the property, there's like I said, there's kind of a concierge service. First of all, you always get me. You don't get an assistant. You don't get, sorry, Eva, you don't get anything like that. You always get me. That I always give people my cell phone number. So when you call, you only get me. And I promise that I will get back to you within 1 hour, unless I'm dealing with something with a child emergency or I'm in the hospital room. And when you have a 15-year-old in 3 sports, that could happen. So I tell people, I said, you're hiring me. You're not hiring a broker. You're hiring Nick DeVito, and I'm on call like a doctor all the time. So what I'm going to give you is the best service on the planet. Now, secondarily, that's number 1. And I think that's the most, everything else is secondary to that. Number 2 is social media marketing. I don't want to say gifted. I'm probably challenged at social media marketing. But I do know how Facebook and LinkedIn and a couple other things work. And I will tell you that sometimes for houses over a certain price, and I try to sell houses at a certain price range if I can, but I'll take house from 50,000 to 5 million. I say we can do what's called a brokers open house / party to launch this listing to the world. This is why I chose to work with a company with 90,000 agents worldwide. And when I left and joined this company 2 years ago, we had 28,000 because I saw the vision where this company was going. And they say, well, why does that matter to me, Nick, that you work with a brokerage? I said, because when I launched this on social media, you'll get 90,000 partners that know they're entrepreneurial like me. And if they have a buyer in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, they'll call me. And I said, if you don't think that works, my last sale was to Canadians, guys from Toronto, Canada, that bought in my city, Chagrin Falls, Ohio. Do you know how they found me? This new thing called social Facebook. They're agents in Toronto, Canada. They own 93 homes. They only found me from my Facebook post that someone in EXP Canada, who I don't know, shared it. These guys called me, drove down 4 hours, bought the property almost sight unseen, cash offer, 400,000. I double-ended the deal. Now they want to buy another 20 properties in the state of Ohio every year for the next 20 years. So anyway, not to be long-winded, Kathy, but social media for me is a game changer. I'll tell you that the last property I did this open house party / brokers open. And if you guys have brokers open, you know, usually they're Tuesdays from 12 to 2 and no one shows up, right? Well, Nick doesn't do that. I do a party at 4 to 7 on Thursdays, 4 to 7, more hour cocktail social event. And I launch this and I try to get 50 to 100 people there. I don't care if it's 50 or 100 nosy neighbors. I don't care if it's 50 or 100 agents. I don't care if it's 50, but you get 50 or 100 people in a 3-hour span in a house and you have wine and cheese and I do my dog and pony. Here's what happens. It's called momentum. And when momentum happens, those people don't know who's a buyer, who's a seller, who's looking, who they could all be plants, but they all know that I drove all this traffic in a 3-hour period to one house. And that house will sell within the weekend, I assure you. The last time I did this, it was a house with, look at my Facebook post, it was in March. It was 675,000 listed, 675. This is a smaller house, modern house, 2,500 square feet, finished basement. Anyway, a house sold in one day for 800,000, all cash, no inspections. Do you think that guy who was my friend, good Italian like myself, Alex, do you think he cared about my 7% commission when I got him $125,000 over ask in 24 hours? He would have paid me 10 if I would have. I mean, listen, he bitched at first. He didn't want to pay 7%. I said, Alex, just let me sell your house for you and let me market it what I do. And sure enough, he said, okay, but you better be right. Well, I was, and we sold it 675, one for 800,000, all cash in 24 hours.
Excuse me.
So that's what I do. I market differently. It's all about me. I'm always on social media stuff. So that's important for my clients.
Okay. And do you do that no matter what the price range?
I tend to, yes. I like to do it on almost any house. Now if it's a $50,000 house in East Cleveland and I'm probably a little safety concern for my life, I might not do it. But other than that, and I wouldn't take a listing if I was really concerned, but I try to do it for all my houses. And what it does is it differentiates me from all the other agents because no one else does this. And some of the agents that I've done deals with, you know, in our market, we have low inventory, right? And high demand. So when I have a party like this and I meet someone and say, hey, Kathy, thanks for coming. I'm Nick DeVito with EXP. So nice to meet you. How long have you been in the business? It's a personal. Then when I put an offer in on your listing and you got 12 other, you're like, hey, I remember that sort of stocky Italian guy, was very personable, nice friend, seemed nice. I got 15 offers here. I'm going to call Nick back because I met him and he seemed like a nice guy or had me over at an open house, brokers open. We had a glass of wine and seems like nice. I'm going to call that guy back. So then I think that this personal stuff, even with fellow agents, I've been doing this since before I was with EXP. I like that personal. It cost me $500 in wine and cheese. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. So yes, to answer your question, Kathy, almost at any price range, I will do it.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. And I know, I think Giselle, did you raise your hand?
Yes.
Okay.
Kay has been waiting.
And then Kay, I'll get you too.
Yeah.
I promise I won't.
Yeah. And I'll be heading into work soon, so I'd love to ask that question real quick. As a new agent, would you recommend door knocking on for sale by owners, but doing it by yourself if you're a girl?
Yes, as long as it's in a good neighborhood and you feel safe. I don't never want you to put you in a situation where you don't feel safe, Giselle. So if you feel uncomfortable, it depends on where you're door knocking. If you're door knocking bad neighborhoods, don't door knock gated communities or good communities where you feel safe. And if you don't, are you married or have a significant other?
Yes, I have a boyfriend.
Okay, well, I bet you he'd be more, if I was your boyfriend, and I'm a happily married man for a long time,
Yes.
I would be more than happy to drive you around and let you walk into someone's house. If I was sitting in the car and saying, I can
Yes.
spend 2 hours on a Saturday while you start to build your business. I mean, I would do that for my girlfriend or wife.
Yes.
So yes, but I think door knocking, cold calling, please, for sale by owners. I mean, that's how you cut your teeth in this industry. It's not, don't spend $2,000 a month on leads if you can help it. Go spend 2 hours a
Right.
day door knocking. You should be prospecting. All of us should prospect 4 hours a day. 4 hours. That's the most valuable thing we can do with our time is prospect. I promise you.
Okay, and then can we connect with you on Facebook? And then maybe is there anything you bring to a first appointment if you're like brand new, like,
If I wouldn't go, I mean, I train people. It's funny. When I came to EXP, I promised myself, I swore off like new agents. So I'm kind of laughing Giselle at myself. I now currently have seven mentees. 7. That's 7 more than I wanted. But these people came to me. Some of them, like myself, I have a cousin who was in the lending industry for 25 years. And he goes, Nick, I'm quitting my job. I'm going to go to work for you. I was literally like a wolf of Wall Street. He's like, you made how much money last month? He's like, I'm going to work. I told him he worked for my wife at a bank. I go, don't do this. Don't play. Dan. Anyway, long story short, he didn't listen to me. His mom passed away. I think,
Mhm.
anyway, long story short, he quit his job. Now he works for me so, but don't go alone. Get a mentor or someone you trust. Maybe it doesn't have to be your mentor because I understand it might be 17 states away from you, but
Mhm.
find someone. We can find an EXP agent that will go on with you with a listing appointment because you don't know what you don't know. And it would be better if they did it, even if you got to give them 10% of your commission or 20% or referral fee or $500, whatever you want to do. Just go with someone who's been doing it a little longer than you. So you hear it and you understand and you watch the body language. You'll be the listing agent, of course, but they should be, if you can't find someone in your neck of the woods that will come help you, I'll promise you, we'll find you someone in Honey Badger Nation that will. I give you that, my word.
Thank you.
Welcome. And I know,
Okay.
Giselle, you got to go to work. And Kay, go ahead. Sorry. Thank you.
I guess I'm curious how you respond. We get so many TV ads about, 2%, help you sell for 1.5% or 1%. How do you deal with that when they bring up, yeah, but I see on TV, blah, blah, blah. Why are you charging so much? How do you
Sure.
deal with that?
So
Because
there's
it's all over our market.
Oh, and it is here too. I don't want you. We have flat discount brokers. We have a lady that lists 100 homes a year from Columbus. And Columbus, I live in Cleveland, which is way up north. Columbus is 2.5, 3 hours south of me. And this lady lists more properties here because she's a direct broker or whatever it is. She charges $500. What I do is when I go on those appointments and they say, oh, Nick, well, this lady from Columbus is going to charge me $500. I go, yep, she's going to charge you $500 every 3 months for, that'll renew. So that's $500. Plus, she's going to give me, let's say I'm the buyer's agent in the house, I'm going to demand at least 3.2. So that's 3% plus 500. I said, but here's what you don't know. And around here in our market, you're going to be responsible for every single showing, every single listing. It's on the MLS, yes, which means it's on websites, but you're going to get 30 to 45 calls a day or texts wanting people to see your home. Are you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, going to manage that yourself? Because no offense, your company pays you to do X. They don't pay you to sell real estate. You're going to pay me to sell real estate. So you don't have to do that because last time I checked, you don't want 29 people in your home on day one. You want 5 people that are pre-approved buyers that are working with buyer's agents that I'm going to personally screen. No one gets in my listings if they're not pre-approved. And I say, that is my promise. So every single person that gets in is going to make sure they're financially qualified to see this isn't, Aunt Sarah from around the way who's just going to go over to see your listing. These are qualified buyers. I'd rather have 12 people in on day one that can buy the home than 30 and 20 of them can't buy a doghouse. I said, so this is what you get. And if you don't want that kind of concierge service, then yes, maybe you'll get lucky and you'll work with her. But I will tell you, 80 out of her 100 listings don't sell by her. They sell by a professional like myself. It costs you a little more, but the average for sale by owner pays, what is it? I think it was the national standard is they lose 9%. 9%. Now, I've never charged anyone 9% on a listing yet. 8.5 is the highest. So if you're wasting 9% on not being negotiated, not being represented professionally, then I said, you're silly, because why wouldn't you pay me 7%? You're still 2% to the good, and you get professional services. And by the way, what do you think is going to happen in case, God forbid, we live in a litigious world, in case that agent does something wrong who charged you 5%? I said, what do you think they're going to represent you? I said, my brokerage, EXP, we make sure I represent you legally. So we have lawyers, we have people behind us that are helping us to make sure we do this correctly. Those kind of discount brokerage firms, it's kind of a, it's just a bad taste in my mouth. Now, if you want to charge someone, a family member, 5 or 6% or lower your commission because you're related, I get it. But normally, I will tell you the horror stories and the lawsuits are all from people that either try to do it themselves up here in Ohio or get those discount brokers that literally say on the MLS, call seller, text seller, deal with seller, but send me the contract. I'm going, I'm not going to send you anything. So anyway, and we get that a lot, Kay. And especially when the market's really, really good, like it is now, when anyone can put a sign in, houses sell for 50,000 over in 2 days. I mean, these guys and girls that do that look like they're geniuses and saving you money, but it's really costing the seller more money in the end. And that's a national average. You can look it up. For sale by owners or discount brokers do not have the negotiating skills that us professionals have. It's costing their clients 9% total on a real estate transaction. That's an NAR statistic, just so you know.
Okay. My other question is, how much do you spend per month on your marketing?
Okay, you must have been late to our meeting.
I was.
Kathy, how much does Nick spend a month on my marketing?
I didn't hear that. I know your brokers open are about 500.
I do. That's right. I do spend that. Zero.
Marketing is different than paying for a lead. You
Okay,
said you don't pay for a lead, but marketing is different than that.
Okay, so but marketing, so think about this. So I do pay for my own broker's office, and I can get it paid for by title or lenders. They could give me a check if I really wanted to, but then I have to give them business, and I'm in a couple pods and ABAs anyway. But I will tell you, I've never paid for a lead. I guess if that's considered marketing, yes, but I'm only paying for it after I got the listing.
Right. Okay.
You give me a 7% commission, I'll pay $500 for wine and cheese and bring 50 people into the house to sell it, right? So I don't consider that. If anything, I'm marketing myself, I'm marketing the property. But I'm talking about, I don't have a monthly budget for marketing, Kay, not 1 cent.
So you don't boost your post on Facebook or pay for any of that up? Nothing.
Nothing. Now, I do utilize Facebook, and I'll give you a great example. I utilize it to my advantage. I was just pretty proud. I was awarded number 9 in the state of Ohio out of 1,500 agents, which again, I don't sell a lot of homes anymore. So it tells you a little bit about the market, but I added that on my Facebook post. I think it's the last one on there. And then people said, well, how did you do that? And I gave a plug for ROI, which is my networking group. I said, well, 14 of these listings of my homes that I sold came from this networking group. But it was also, that was a marketing advertising for me. Hey, Nick's number 9 out of 1,500 agents in the state of Ohio. That's a pretty good thing. So when you have that stuff, you guys have excuse me, like a Real Producers magazine where you're from? You guys have any of that?
I don't know. I'm not a real producer. I'm still building. So I don't think I'd qualify.
Success Magazine comes to us.
Yeah. You could put a copy of Success. I mean, I try to think of things out of the box. Now, I post too many things. My wife will tell you, 99% of my posts are real estate related. But even when the posts aren't real estate related, when I'm golfing today, the people I'm golfing with in an hour are all realtors, lenders, title. So I'll snap a picture, put it on Facebook, say golfing with some of the best industry leaders or giants, things like that. It all comes back to real estate. When I'm playing top golf with my son, I'll take a picture of him and somehow it'll be my hashtags. All 3 of my hashtags I always use on any of my posts are realtor, #winning, #real estate. Now, my wife hates the winning part. I will tell you, she despises it because it reminds her of Charlie Sheen. But we all remember Charlie Sheen, crazy as that nutball is, that he basically said winning when he was all high. Well, I will tell you, people remember that. And now I have agents here in Ohio that are like #winning. I'm like, you totally got that from me. I'm like, you better give me props, but I got it from Charlie Sheen. So start making posts and just do, you could do, Kathy by the beach, Kay in the basement, or real estate related, whatever you're going to do, just something like winning for me. I've always wanted to win. I've always wanted to succeed. I'm very competitive. A type A, as you guys probably tell, personality. I talk with my hands. If you ever want to keep me quiet, just put a pair of gloves on me. But anyway, I just want you to know that just try to differentiate yourself, that people will remember you for that difference. People know that I'm in real estate. Every single text I write, Nick DeVito, realtor, Nick DeVito, realtor. I send it to my mom like that. She goes, honey, I've been doing this for 25 years. Been doing this 20 years. I know you're a realtor. Every single text it has it built in. Nick DeVito, realtor. They can never say, oh, I forgot you were in real estate. Really? I've sent you 2,000 texts, mom, in the last 20 years. You forgot I was a realtor? Go ahead, Giselle.
Yes,
Oh,
thank
baby.
you. Will you share a little bit more about your networking group? Is that something you guys are teaching on, or you recommend us joining a local networking group or a BNI?
Yes. So I would say BNIs are bad, but networking groups are good. BNI is a little bit too corporate or structured for me. The nice thing about ROI is the resident real estate agent gets to run the group. And to me, not that I want to be in control or I want to be in power, because trust me, I have enough to do. But what I like about that is that I'm responsible for giving the most amount of leads. So I handpicked everyone in my first 5 people. I picked a lender, I picked an insurance agent, I picked a title rep, I picked an inspector, and I picked a photographer. 5, just 5. Those 5 people that I handpicked, it's $500 a year for them to be in the group, or $50 a month. I said, if you guys know, I'm going to give you business. So don't tell me it's a money thing, because everyone says, well, I don't want to do it for it's money and I said $500. Every one deal for all of them, except for maybe my photographer, they're going to get their money back. But what I told them is this is your group. So I used the power of leverage, which I'm pretty good at, to say, now this is week 1, we have 5 people. Next week, I want 15 people at the group. We meet every Tuesday at a Panera Bread at 8 to 9 in the morning. There's no eating at my meetings. Why? It's a networking meeting. We need to network. So long story short is on week 2, I had 15 people there. I only had 5 people sign up first. Week 2, I had 15 people. And I told them all, I said, I don't care what category you're in. We only have 1 category, 1 lender, 1 real estate agent, 1 insurance. I said, so the first person that gets in, you get that category and no one else can get it. Then I posted that on social media and said, hey, I run a networking group. I'm looking for A, B, and C. Looking for A, B, and C got me 6 more people. So now we have a group of 20. We meet every Tuesday from 8 to 9. It actually cost me nothing as the group leader. ROI gave me back my $200 I invested with them to do it because they said they got 5 people or 10 people in the first 90 days, 60, whatever it was. So anyway, cost me nothing. I'm in a networking group that I control. I don't, and it is just, it's purposeful. It's meaningful. I don't care about the categories. I don't want anyone in there selling Mary Kay, no offense, or Amway soap or things like that. But I want people that are serious about growing their business. And I started this the end of last year after probably one of my best years. You guys know how much money I made last year selling 14 homes. So why would I start this if things are going well? Because I saw that the industry, interest rates were rising, some other things going on. I always want to differentiate myself from someone else. So I want to stay a step ahead. The greatest thing about this group, Giselle, I will tell you, is I have now recruited 3 people in my networking group to become EXP agents, which is pretty fun. So.
All right. So it's kind of like you're running a vendor group, right? It's like your vendors and you guys
Yeah.
are referring to each other.
Yep.
So it's similar to BNI in the sense that there can only be 1 person in each category,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So you're okay. I love that idea. I'm pretty good. I'm great at, I always send referrals to people that I know. So I already do that anyways for fun. So I'll
I
look
think it'd
into
be,
that.
yeah, I put it the first thing in the chat. That's the first thing. If you click on there, you'll actually see a video of me and some other guys that started the company. And I'm not involved in the ownership of the company, anything like that, but they brought me on board to help. I'm the director of group development, which means now I go around the country or do Zooms like this. And I say, listen, if you're an EXP agent, you actually don't have to be an EXP. That's not a mandatory thing, but I'll tell you the EXP agents we're very entrepreneurial, outside thinkers. So running a group like this, a networking group, I always wanted to be in a networking group, and I was probably too lazy or didn't want to pay the money. But when these guys approached me and said, we could be the leader of the group, and we only have I really liked it that the residential real estate agent was the leader, because I'm giving more referrals than anyone. Every single deal we do, I need insurance. I need, this, I need an inspector. I need a loan. I give 5 referrals on every single deal away. I'm going to give them away anyway. I might as well maybe get something back from it. And I didn't think like that. I didn't think I'd get 16 listings from it. So.
Wow. So would you recommend waiting till you're actually doing business to start a group like that?
No, start a group now. I mean, how old are you? Can I ask?
Oh yeah, I'll be 39 on Monday.
Okay, you qualify. And the reason I asked that is because if you were a 20-year-old, I'd say maybe you're not qualified because you haven't been on the planet long enough. But I will tell you, 30, 40 years old, you've been around, people, you might be new to our industry, but you're not new to business, I'm assuming. So
Correct.
I think you're more than qualified to start it. And I think it'll be great.
Cool. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thanks for
What is
sharing
your,
it.
by the way, Giselle, what does your boyfriend do?
He is a marketer. He does paid marketing for a marketing agency.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
so he's good at marketing.
Well, you got
Copywriting.
your marketing spot covered.
Yeah. He's really good. He's gonna help me with like my business name, my branding and stuff.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, but I'm the social person. Like I go to networking meetings already, right?
Okay. Yeah.
With
Good.
investors. But I like the idea of starting my own group because I have more control, and I already send referrals to people naturally. I've always been a connector. So
Good.
I'm like, oh, well, I could benefit from that too. So that would be great.
Well, and one more thing, and I know you got to go to work, but one more thing, and here, all of you, hear me out on this. There's only 2 things we do as realtors. 2, I promise you that. We sell houses, and we bring people the gift of EXP. And I'm not a guy that's got 10,000 people in his downline making 200,000 a month, but I know people like that. And what I mean is I spent 18 years in this industry, or 15 years before joining EXP, and I was people would thought of, I have plaques. If you looked at my office down here, all these plaques from Remax and Berkshire, those plaques mean they collect dust and they mean nothing. Now we get stock and ownership. So what I'm getting back at, Giselle, is I go to every CE class everyone offers. The reason I go to the CE classes, A, so I can learn something, B, so I can meet other agents, and C, because if I want to recruit someone, that's a good way to meet them in person. Say, oh, I needed this class. I have like 472 credit hours. I need 36 every 3 years. So just know that if you just think about that, if you think about you're always doing 1 or 2 things, selling houses or looking for good people. That's all we do. That's all I tell my agents. You have 2 jobs. That's it. So if you spend 4 hours prospecting, you spend another 2 hours of your day talking to agents, getting to know them. Don't say, by the way, I belong to the best company on the planet. Come here and retire with us. Don't say that. Get to know them first. Ask them about their pressure points, and then see if you can help someone. If you solve a problem for them, they will join you. I don't care if you've been in the industry 2 minutes or 20 years.
Right. Yeah, that happened. Nick, I went to an investor meeting because I'm focusing too with working with investors. So I went to a meeting and I met a girl. She was frustrated with her. She got her license and I was like, oh, what happened? And she was telling me about it. And now she's going to be joining probably in the next week or 2.
And get her on the phone with your, if Gina's your direct sponsor, Upline or whoever, just get on a 3-way call and listen to what Gina says, or Gary or whoever, or me, or just listen a couple times and you'll get it, and have some data and know the things. I mean, my biggest thing is when I left Berkshire, we had 50,000 agents and I ran the number 2 team in the world out of 50,000 agents. Today, 2.5 years later, they have 40,000 agents. And when I left EXP, I started with 28,000 agents at EXP. Today we have 87,000 agents worldwide. Just think about that logically, 2.5 years. So I'm following the money. I know that this is good long-term because it's the only place an agent can actually retire, stop selling real estate, and keep having money come in from revenue share and stock and ownership. So you don't need to, I know that you guys probably know more about it than I do some days, but.
So here's a silly question for you. Are
Okay.
you related to Danny DeVito?
I tell people I'm related. I'm his cousin, but actually I don't think I'm related at all to him, even though the same exact spelling. Because when my grandfather came over on the boat from Italy, they changed his name. It was Divita, and the guy who was on the boat was like, "What's your name?" And of course, my grandfather didn't speak any English, so who knows what he said. But it ended up, I think the guy before him was DeVito, so I was a DeVito. So that was 19. I think it was after World War II, so sometime in the 40s or 50s. I don't remember. But I tell people I am, especially when I go, "Is it going to get me anything free if I'm related?" They're like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "He's my first cousin." Little fella, a lot of money. You guys have any more questions?
No, I'd like to learn some more about your ROI
Sure.
group, and it's something I've been tossing around the back of my head. So I don't know if I really want to do it, but I can see the value.
And I will tell you, I didn't want to do it, Kathy. I needed to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't know the success. I will tell you this, I'm kind of fortunate. Next week, when I'm in shareholders, I got to go down a day early on Tuesday. My wife's like, "Oh, really hard, isn't it, to go to 2 parties?" And I'm speaking to the number 1 team, the number 1 mega icon team in the world. It's called the Premier Group. I think they have 500 agents or some ridiculous number. And I'm speaking to them. The only thing I'm talking to them about is ROI. Because it's just a leverage tool that EXP agents can use to just differentiate yourself and be more productive. And it's just, we're going to get the referrals, but we need to be in front of people every single week. And just matter of fact, the day after, in 2 weeks, my favorite pastime, my ROI group is going to go, we're all going to go golf the day after Memorial Day on Tuesday, because everyone's off work on Monday. So we're all going to go golf on Tuesday. So we make it fun, and we do things for charity now, but I've only been running this group for 4 months. People think I know what I'm doing. Trust me, I'm winging this like anything else I've done in life, but I give it a lot of my best effort, and that's been okay so far. So please do it for yourself. You'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy the people. I think you'll really like it.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed this. Gina will never have me back on. I promise you that. No, I'm just kidding. She called me like 3 times. I'm like, "Oh, that can't be good." Well, if you guys
That
need
means
me,
she's feeling better.
good. I hope so. If you guys need me, please look into the ROI groups. Look into the first post I said. My cell number is 216-401-9954. It's in the chat. So if I can ever help with anything you guys need, or be a reference or something, please, we're all in this together.
All right.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Sure.
Mhm.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. I hope you all have a great weekend.
Yes. Have a
Thank
good
you.
weekend. Bye-bye.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.